Hi. We're a little nervous because we're doing this without our script daddy, Zaddy Scott right now.
Without our real daddy.
Without our real
He's
daddy.
basking in the sun in the Bahamas, apparently.
Working.
Yeah,
quotes.
working.
He's
I'm sure.
working late.
Shirking his responsibilities.
Get your ass back here.
Get over here.
But what he'll come to find is that we're thriving without him. We
Yeah,
are
you
thriving without
did
him.
it.
We don't even
man.
need you.
Yeah.
We don't need no man.
No.
No.
No, girl. You look at me, mama. You look at me, girl. You're better than this, mama.
You're stronger than this. You're stronger. You're gonna come back stronger.
Yeah.
Hi, hello.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm good. How are
You're wearing one of my favorite sweatshirts that you own.
Yep. I'm wearing a sweatshirt that I got in Minnesota in this adorable little town that Carly's family has a place in, and we like to go there during the summer. It's gorgeous. I found it in the tiniest little antique store.
And it like fits you like a glove.
It really does.
And it's the perfect amount of worn.
And it has two little mallards.
Why is that word so funny?
Mallards. Embroidered on it, and I just love it.
But it's like someone else did the legwork of wearing it in for you,
yes.
and now you get to reap the benefits. Like I can't believe someone got rid of it at that point of wear out.
So cozy, comfortable. I do fear it's a dead man's shirt.
Oh.
I do fear. But almost all stuff at like event, like secondhand, you know,
you get I never think that way, and now I will only think that way.
Yeah, it's like, oh, what do we do with all this stuff? I don't
Oh,
want to go
Colin!
I don't want to go through Dad's stuff. Let's just throw it away. But it wasn't a Goodwill. It was an adorable little antique store.
True, but all the more why it's
nature,
probably
it's just the nature of the history of objects.
I know. It's weird because like with jewelry, that doesn't.
One
that
day
doesn't
I'll have
bother
to get
me
rid of
quite
all
as
my
much.
pants.
I know.
What are you gonna do?
But you know something I think something I actually think
morbid.
about. It is morbid, but I think I've told you about this before. Like lately when I think about like getting art or like little pieces for around the whatever, I'm like I want it to be something that resonates so much with me. And that I think is so cool, but ultimately that I also hope that loved ones who are alive longer than me think is cool, so that like I want people fighting over my shit.
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh, that one necklace of hers is mine.
I took my dad's Letterman jacket years ago because I was like, this is mine. I'm keeping it. I need to get it restored.
I love that.
Yeah.
What's restored? What's wrong with it?
The NC, because he went to North Carolina, whatever university, Tar Heel, whatever that is, and then the like NC,
is
like thing is like discolored.
Got it.
You've seen me wear it before. I used to wear it a lot. I wore it to your mustache party back in the day, like your 21st birthday or whatever it was.
What birthday was? I don't think
it was.
No, wasn't that
early.
pre-Scott or was it? Or no, I don't know.
No, it wasn't pre-Scott. I don't think.
Was he at the mustache party?
Because Scott was at my 21st birthday party, and that's the first time I met Scott.
Your mouth. You're right at that hotel, right? Or no?
Well, we went to the hotel after we started that pizza place that's no longer there.
Where we got the spiciest pizza ever.
Mm-hmm.
It was crazy. That place was good though. But I couldn't even really enjoy the pizza because it was the kind of spice that you were like, how can you deem this good or bad? Because at this point,
this is not natural.
Mm-hmm. Things are sweating in places they're not supposed to be.
Literally.
So anyway.
All of that to say, welcome to Script Daddy.
Long intro, gang. Welcome to Script Daddy. I'm your host, Carly.
And I'm your host, Colin. Here at Script Daddy, we read scripts, watch the movie, and discuss the difference between script and screen.
It's true. The rumors, they're true.
The allegations.
The allegations?
They're all true.
All true. Spot on.
Mm-hmm. And yes, it's gaping.
I did not know where you were going to go with that. And that just like smacked me. I thought you were going to say gay baiting, and then you said gaping, and my mind took a second.
Some could say that they're interchangeable.
Some could say.
Some would say. Some would.
Some have.
Some, you know what? Some are currently, immediately, right now.
I can't. Do we want to just jump right in?
Let's jump in.
Let's jump in. So we're doing a really small film today.
Yeah.
Just a little tiny indie named Jurassic Park. Halo.
Yeah, God.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, God.
Gall.
Not yes, God.
And by
Yeah,
God, I do mean still Steven Spielberg.
Honestly, once again, it took me the end of the film to go, oh my God, it was a Steven Spielberg again.
Oh, really?
I don't know why I'm someone who like sometimes I just like forget.
The Berg strikes again.
But like all the more credit to him because he has such an imprint and yet he's done such a diverse amount of films that as much as he's got like a stamp of Steven Spielberg, not enough to the point where you're like, I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. I don't know
this
if
is
I'm
our
making
second.
sense, but
No, you are. Yeah. He has his own creative DNA that is in all of his stuff, even though he spans so many genres.
Yeah.
He has it's for me, it's the way that I don't know cinematography fucking lingo. So sorry guys, if you do know that, and that's totally,
forgive us, Scott.
Yes. Forgive me, Scott. But the way he plays with like light in his shots and like a lens flare and like smoke and atmosphere with light.
Yes.
And a silhouette. It get like he has a very specific way of doing. Like when I was watching the movie today, I was just like, because I mean we've all seen that movie a million times.
Yeah.
But like that man, we talked about this with Minority Report, and this is our second Steven Spielberg of this season because we did Jaws.
Yep.
But that man knows how to make a fucking movie.
He really does.
I am so gagged every time. Like now that we're like, I'm watching films in the context of this podcast. It's like, I'm so blown away by Steven Spielberg. It's insane.
Well, especially because it's like, and thus far, every script, I mean, I guess this is only our second, and I have a feeling we're going to do much more of his, but like, he's not getting handed bad scripts, but yet somehow he is still taking the material and elevating it, even when it's a great script.
And like this is our third script.
He just seems like the most incredible collaborator because he takes a vision that's already great and somehow finds those little things because not to get so ahead of myself, I'm only going to say like literally one thing, but something I think he is so good at that he is really highlighted in this movie is that he's good at taking dialogue that existed in a script.
Girl, yes.
And finding like those movie lines that are going to stand out.
Yes.
That aren't in the script. But then like finding the best dialogue of the script. Like he's like, there's.
And then taking the rest of the dialogue and honing it to a place to make it more natural.
Yes.
It's like.
It's crazy.
I literally noticed that with the dialogue too, because this is our second screenplay that we've read by David Cope.
Yes, which
last season we did amazing. Last season we did Death Becomes Her. This one is obviously Jurassic Park, and that man has a definite style too with his dialogue and action. I mean, he has such a specific voice on the page. But it's interesting to see now how. Especially with this one, the dialogue, because Death Becomes Her, it was already so heightened that they just leaned more into that. With this, you could see where, he really honed that dialogue and dialed it in to a point where I was just like, even the exposition is like so much smoother. To
the point where I started putting the movie side by side with the script because I actually wanted to start going like, all right, it felt so similar, but something in me was like, some of this is different. And it was really cool to see it's amazing what they mined from.
Yes. And the dynamics between,
we're getting ahead of ourselves.
We are. I'm sorry. Okay. Give us the details, the stats, give it.
I'm going to do it all, even though my trivia link is like not happening. So we'll see about that. The trivia was like not that interesting though.
I read a little bit before and there was one that stood out that I found was very interesting.
Then maybe share that because I don't know why this link is being a butthole, but also I will say I normally save some, but I didn't because I was like, none of this is like super standing out in a way that I thought it would. So Jurassic Park 1993.
I mean 23 years old. What the fuck? Wait, 22. Yeah.
1993 and it's 2025. Don't you put me on the spot with math. I am not a math girly.
I didn't get out of algebra 2.
Girl, I don't 1 + 1 is what? Anyway, once again with the IMDb log line, I honestly I wish there was a database that could
had
confirm
all the legit log lines
because these are not the log lines and they're making me sad. They're actually making me sad, girl. So anyway, here we go with this gorgeousness.
We're sorry for this, David Cope.
An industrial, already starting off really strong. An industrial invites some experts to visit his theme park of cloned dinosaurs. After a power failure, the creatures run loose, putting everyone's lives, including his grandkids, in danger.
I mean, yeah, that's the movie, but starting it off with an industrial,
I guess. I was
sure,
literally
a megalomaniac entrepreneur.
Also, we're diving
Works
into
better.
that because as an adult and reading the screenplay, I had a very different take on his character.
Wait
Hammond.
until you hear how he was in the book, because
that's one of my notes is to ask you.
Oh.
Okay, so I will say
I cannot wait.
I cannot wait. Colin, I
cannot wait.
Okay.
Script Babies, one little
Tell it
thing,
to 'em.
one little addition of, what am I trying to say? There's a new layer of information that we're adding into this episode because I have now listened to the Jurassic Park audiobook twice. Once last year for fun, and again this year in preparation for this episode, because we thought it would be fun to explore some of the differences between book to script to screen and like explore some of the adaptation process.
which I'm obsessed with.
Hammond is a completely different character in the book. We'll get into it.
Oh, I cannot wait to get into it. I literally have
I'm
notes
so
on
excited.
him where I was like, I need to ask. Okay,
Girl, it's
because
so
then
good.
it's cool to see how he was diffused from like, oh my god. Okay. Director Steven Spielberg. Writer. So Michael Crichton, is that the
Michael Crichton is the
Crichton.
author of the book.
I am the worst at
It's okay.
pronunciation.
Doesn't he have such a badass name? Michael Crichton.
Crichton. Was he the writer of the novel?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then
And
David Cope
An
was
incredible fucking writer,
Yeah.
by the way. Michael Crichton, I'm sorry, that man.
You've convinced me.
He's a fucking genius.
You've truly convinced me to read at least get the audiobook.
Everyone should get the audiobook. It's fucking incredible. Anyway.
I want to hold this here this time. It's bothering me for some
Yeah.
reason.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Stars Sam Neill, Laura Dern, and Jeff Goldblum. They all ate it up.
Ate it. Perfection. Perfect casting.
It couldn't have been cast better.
Literally.
Truly.
Could not have been.
Laura Dern, the look she gives when they see the dinosaurs for the first time is
Literally.
Oscar worthy.
Yes. And you know who else ate up a look in this movie? Is the little boy when he's watching the T-Rex kill that thing and he says, "Look at how much blood." I was like, what? That is really great acting from a child.
I truly think the children brought life to their otherwise
Boring as fuck on the page characters.
Yeah. They really, truly a perfectly cast, perfect. Because
Truly.
I was obsessed with Malcolm on the page, but Jeff Goldblum still makes him better.
Yes.
Like-
Jeff Goldblum is the secret sauce.
He is the secret sauce. And you know what?
If he's
I
right
have
for
some
the character-
friends who are like, he's like it for them, and I never really fully got
He
it.
has a deep cult following.
He really does. But like, I feel, so I like, when I watched it this time, I was like, okay, Jeff, I see it.
He's a sexy
I
little...
get it. I get it.
He's a sexy
Okay, so
little
this
man in that
surprised
movie.
me. The budget surprised me.
What? Oh my God, give it to me.
63 million.
Ooh, that does feel low. I mean, obviously that's a bigger budget,
But
especially for the
doesn't it-
time period
For the
too.
time period, I guess.
Like with
absolutely.
inflation, but like
But for some reason, I
that
was
feels
imagining it was-
low.
Right?
Under 80 feels low
Especially
as
when
fuck.
Especially when you realize that the animatronics they use still hold up. The
Girl,
period underlined in
literally.
bold.
Yes.
I left room for like, it's been a second since you've seen this movie. You might like watch with slightly different eyes. Kind of remember with Jaws where we were kind of like, oh yeah,
Yes.
like when you stay too long on it, you're like,
Yes.
ee-oo.
Yeah.
Nope.
This
Nope.
holds the fuck up.
Still absolutely terrifying and absolutely real.
Yes, the raptors and it's the T-Rex. Are we kidding me? The Triceratops on the floor. Like it's the level of artistry with the animatronics is insane.
And I miss that shit because it's like, I know
do
we can like
too.
perfect it now, but there is artistry. I'm not saying that there's not in the other. I'm just saying
Of
that
course.
like
I like practical. There's an
Me
A24 film that is coming out really soon with like this little tiny character. I forgot what it's called. And like the whole thing with that is that it's practical. The little creature is all animatronics. It's like, it looks incredible. Apparently it's really, really good. People are freaking out over it.
I hope that we go so far in this direction that we start to go back to that. Do you know what I mean? Like
Yes, God, please.
I actually feel like that might happen. Like with all this
Practical
AI stuff.
effects
yeah.
enhanced with CG.
Yeah.
That's the secret sauce
I
right there.
agree.
Like in
Sauce.
Where the Wild Things Are, that's what they did. It was practical costumes for the monsters, and then they enhanced their facial features with CG, and it looks incredible. Anyway.
Love. That's what it should be. That's what it should be.
Yeah.
So the gross. The first Jurassic Park
my
movie
God.
grossed over
Gross.
1.1 billion
Sounds about right.
worldwide, and this includes 407 million domestically and 697 million internationally. Holy shit balls, bro.
Yes, God.
That's incredible.
Insane. It's
And
it's so
and it
iconic.
deserves it.
Yeah.
It deserves
It really
it.
does. It still fucking holds up.
Because I would like to say that like for all intents and purposes, this would not fall under an immediate like Carly film. And yet I was like, it's so good.
It's
you
undeniably
can't
great.
look away.
Literally. It's perfect storytelling.
And it's perfect storytelling.
Perfect
Truly.
movie making.
Truly.
Yeah. I love.
What was your script daddy? Oh, wait. What was your trivia that you remember?
Trivs. Okay, so here's two little pieces of trivs that I thought was interesting. One was that paleontology was kind of a dying field before the movie came out. And then
Shut up!
Either at the Smithsonian or some national natural history thing, whatever, some big wig at a natural history museum said that he credits this movie with reinvigorating the field of paleontology. And since it came out, there's been on average about one new species per week that's been found, like since then, apparently. Mm-hmm.
You know what? It kind of reminds me of the Jaws thing, but the Jaws thing was a negative thing.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, absolutely.
But like,
a
hello,
negative
Steven
impact on
Spielberg
sharks.
just shaking up the world over
Period.
and over. Damn.
And then the other one was that Steven Spielberg, before he made this, was actually working on a film adaptation of Michael Crichton's other book, ER. But then when Jurassic Park came out, when Jurassic Park, the book came around, he pivoted to do that. And then after he made Jurassic Park, he went to go, I think he produced on ER and made it the hit show that it is.
And
Isn't that amazing?
Now you're triggering what I did read. He also did Jurassic Park and Schindler's List this same year.
Oh my God.
He wanted to do Schindler's List first,
I've never
essentially
seen Schindler's List.
we have to do Schindler's
We
List.
have to do it.
But he was already doing Schindler's List, and essentially they wanted Spielberg so bad for it that they were like, we will give you Schindler's List if you will promise that, like, if you'll do Jurassic Park first. So he was like, okay. So he did, but there was overlap because obviously as a director, it's like even when you're on set of one, you're whatever. And there was something crazy where they had like a satellite. And again, we're talking like 1993. They had a satellite that they spent like $1 million, I think they said, a week on, where he was able to be in contact with both at one point.
Oh my God.
And they said, though, they were like, he said it was the hardest filmmaking year of his hardest
I would imagine
year of his
so.
career. And yet Schindler's List like won an Oscar. This broke every whatever. So
he was put here to make movies.
He truly
Another one that I
was.
thought was interesting was that Universal Pictures already optioned the book before it was even released. I think they optioned it for like $2.5 million. And then Michael Crichton insisted on getting a large back end bonus too. So Michael Crichton made that money, baby.
As he should.
I'm telling you, everybody, you gotta read the book. Get the audiobook. It is
I mean, what an
stunning.
Absolutely genius concept.
Genius.
Something about you saying it that many times started to sound like not genius. It felt like you were making a word up. But I mean, it's still going. Like, that's how genius it was.
Literally.
Is that it's still going.
When Script Babies, when you're hearing this, a new Jurassic Park movie will be, Jurassic World, that part of that franchise, will be coming out. Like, it should either be out or be out within the week. Great. Isn't that crazy?
So cool. Okay, so what is your Script Daddy score?
Okay.
For the
Let's get into it.
Let's get into it.
This is where I landed. I don't know why.
Okay.
I don't know why, but it felt right, but I feel like it could be higher. 8 out of 10. I don't know why. Doesn't that feel low?
Yeah.
For me?
Yeah.
Especially?
Yeah.
I think
mine's higher than
I'm
yours,
feeling a little
surprising.
scared because I think I've done 2 10 out of 10s this season
but
already.
But maybe you shouldn't do.
Okay, I'm going to take that out and
what if you weren't doing it with that in mind? If you had no fear of the fact that you've given any of that,
I would do 9.5.
Okay.
Because I have some gripes for what I would have personally liked to see translate from the book to the screenplay.
And that's fair because you've got
and there's
the
some
book in your
changes
brain.
that I'm what the heck? But I mean, it's incredible. This is what I wrote after reading it. I said I had high hopes for the script and it did not disappoint. David Cope truly is an incredible screenwriter with the ability to write compelling, succinct, perfect action that pushes the story forward and adds tension in all the right places. Having now listened to the audiobook twice, I'm blown away by the brilliance of this adaptation from book to screenplay. The screenplay is actually closer to the book than what makes it ultimately into the movie, but there are also elements that Cope completely fabricated on his own that went on to become some of the most iconic moments in the movies, such as when the T-Rex chases the Jeep, and when Grant and the kids are climbing over the electrified fence and Ellie's turning on the power simultaneously.
Genius.
And then
Truly
Tim
genius.
gets electrocuted. None of that's in the book. I said, this man knows how to tell a story, and more than that, he knows how to enhance an existing story so it plays better for the screen, which is no easy feat. The script really is the perfect example of how to take a 10 out of 10 book and turn it into a screenplay that's worthy of and sometimes exceeds its source material.
Okay, gorgeous.
Because it's perfection. So I don't know why I gave it an 8 out of 10, but it's higher than that. I'm going to say 9.5. I don't know why I'm not doing 10 out of 10, but I don't know. Oh, well, I do. Because I would have liked to see Hammond be who he is in the book.
Okay, see, I really can't
We'll get
wait to
into
hear
it.
about that.
Give me your script score.
Mine was 8.9 because
Hell yeah.
I really enjoyed it.
That's high for a movie like this.
I know. But I really,
damn.
because I had to go, while for me, what made it an 8.9 and not higher was that towards like the last quarter of the film, the action got so, like, it was so actiony that I had to literally keep being like, smack my face and like reread a sentence. And it's not that it wasn't written well. It just got to the point where it was like,
the whole end is a set piece.
It's really, and it's so specific and so whatever that I was starting to get to the point where like when you're ready to kind of like chill into the end of a film, I felt like it was starting to get a little bit in the weedsy for me, where I was starting to go like, wait, what? Like, where is the what in the who? But that being said, it's such a well-written script.
It's so good.
And I feel like he really, like, most of the characters, once again, as I've said this a lot, but again, this is a commonality between great scripts, is like a lot of, not all, but a lot of the characters had their own voice, their own thing. And for a movie that is so action-packed, for the most part, it's kind of wild how much the movie, almost to a T, does the action he wrote. That's why I started putting it side by side, because as much as there was a couple times where I was getting a little bit like, whoa, I got to reread that, like, because it's just kind of a lot. There were moments where I'd go back in the movie and like pull up the script and go, this is damn near verbatim what this man wrote, which is such a testament to the vision that he held for it. That they didn't, especially for something like this. I'm like, they could have chopped this up left and right, and they really didn't. It's a pretty close.
It is.
Like, adaptation's a strange word to use about a script to a screen, but like it is a pretty damn close.
Yeah.
And again, I feel like that is rare. A lot of the movies I feel like that we've done that are more actiony, they end up being quite different.
Yeah.
Quite different. This is not that different.
Yeah, like Jaws, insane amount of changes. Minority Report, insane amount of changes.
Like, crazy.
Yeah.
So I felt like 8.9 felt authentic for, like, to me in the sense where I was like, this is arguably a great script in every single way. It's just some of the dialogue, specifically the kids, a lot of times were taking me out, where they felt, despite their ages, they felt so juvenile, where even like the kids in the movie, like, didn't feel juvenile to me at all. Like, even when they were being kids, they felt like kids, whereas like the dialogue, like sometimes there would be something like kind of funny when she's like, when
they're like, you're
Lex,
a stupidosaurus, and like,
but
you're
like,
a grade A hacker.
But like, I did love, they took some of it. They did take some great lines actually out from that were not in the film, that were in the script. Like, one of them, I think Lex, the little girl, is like, clearly has a crush on Jeff Goldblum.
Yeah.
And she's like, I used to be scared of beards, but like now
I guess they're not so bad. Yeah.
Like that. But
they
again,
hit that more in there. It's
but
cute.
that being said, like, that I couldn't have seen that line coming out of the girl that they cast. So like the choices that they made, I feel like were the right ones. Their dialogue was the most consistent, where I was like, oh, me.
Yeah.
But other than that, I just was like, I really enjoyed it and was really pleased with it.
So good. I saw another piece of trivia about the girl who played Lex. I guess they auditioned a few different girls in the same day for that, and the audition consisted of screaming like bloody murder and being terrified. He wanted to see how they could play terror, and she's the only girl in the day that woke up Steven's wife from she was sleeping on a couch. She woke up and came to check to see if all the kids were okay, because her screams were so convincing.
Get it, girl? And she's great. She is great. They both are.
He left us. He left us.
I know. He's like, I'm not going to do that. Oh, so good. Okay, what is your Script Daddy film score?
Film score. Again, I I'm just going to do what my heart says because I gave it a 9 out of 10. But I'm sorry, this movie is a 10 out of 10. Again, actually, I'll say 9.7 out of 10 just because they really make Hammond a hero and it pisses me the fuck off. Anyway, this is what I wrote. So I'm going to say 9.7 out of 10. And this is what I wrote after reading it. It's pretty short. I said, I have and will always love this movie. And now, after following the creative progression from book to script to movie, I have an even deeper respect for it. While I would have preferred to see some elements of the book make it through to the movie, particularly Hammond's true character, I still feel like any criticism pales in comparison to the sheer skill it takes to bring this story to life at such a high level. The movie is 22 years old and still holds up and will for years to come. I mean, it's a classic with a capital C.
It truly...
And it deserves every ounce of that.
I agree. And it also tonally lives in a very interesting place.
Yeah, it is full action thriller. Sci-fi thriller.
And like, they've...
So no, finish your sentence, but...
What?
I got a really big laugh at the beginning where it says PG-13, and the reason for it got a PG-13, it says intense sci-fi terror. Anyway, what were you going to say?
No, I was going to say is like, in some ways, the script has I don't know if you'll agree with me. I feel like I wish I could find a better word, but this is the word I kept coming back to. The script has a little bit more edge at times.
Okay.
And I'll explain why I feel that way in a second.
They do gloss it up a little bit for the movie.
A little bit. But again,
especially with Grant and Ellie's
that was going to be my
dynamic.
main example, is it was way
Which is
more,
also completely different in the book.
I cannot fucking wait for you to tell me. But that was, I think, the biggest example. But that being said, though, the movie still has edge. But I think what they did with it is why it was so successful. I understand why they made the changes.
Yeah.
I don't know if it would have been quite as universally loved if some of those things that they you know what I'm saying?
Agreed.
Like, because wait, sorry, let me pause. My film score was a 9.
Hell yeah.
And again, for me, like for me, that's a big deal. But I was
Jurassic
like, this
Park,
is an iconic
baby.
Fucking film. It's a genius concept delivered
God,
so
really
well.
Is. It really is. And the exposition dumps in it. It's such an exposition heavy story.
And it's my God.
They do it so well.
So much of Malcolm's dialogue, I was like, I want to print this out.
Girl, I didn't get it. There's a whole diatribe that Malcolm goes on towards the end of the book about science and how science has, was working in our favor at one point and now it's working against us. And he kind of touches on it where he says like science can tell us how to make pesticides, but it can't tell us not to use them.
That's in the script.
Yes, it is. But it's part of this whole other thing that he goes on that is so beautifully put. Malcolm's whole thing with chaos theory and everything is much more prevalent in the book. It's
even though
in the movie too,
but I also loved the change they made from the script to the film when he makes it more flirty with Laura Dern. Like in the script, he uses a different example.
He uses a pool ball.
Yeah,
but then in the movie he does the water
hand, and
which is what they do in the book. That's an example that he gives in the book. The pool thing was for the script, but yeah.
I preferred that because and also I felt like one of the things that I took from this was that like when you write authentic, well-rounded, just like great characters, you can use them as exposition dumps in a way that everyone's totally fine with. Because so much of most of his dialogue, other than with extras, when he spoke up, it was either to sass, flirt, or share some epic exposition.
Totally. And
every time I was so pleased. Whereas like if it had been more of a benign character, I would have been like, okay, vehicle for information. Never felt that way with him. And also he played it well. He played it like the guy who would be talking like that. You know what I mean? And it helps that you also know that they're bringing experts there. That does help.
Yes.
And I did think that's one thing that this script and film and all that had in its favor is that it allows the viewer to relax knowing that we are following experts. So I don't need to be a dinosaur expert and I don't even have to be interested in dinosaurs. I don't know who isn't slightly interested in dinosaurs, but my point is like, there's such a varying scale of how interested and how much that I thought they did a really good job of the experts not having to speak in a way that it goes right over your head. Mm-hmm. Remember, like with Jaws, we felt like you needed to be in on it. Too much boat
talk. Oh my God.
You had to be in on it. Whereas like this script and this film, you don't need to be in on it because they do the work for you in a way that like you get to just trust and enjoy. Yeah. Which I really, really liked.
They make the science secondary.
Yes.
And it supports the story and the reasoning for why it's happening, it's just so well done. And for the movie, that's what you'd have to do.
You know what I thought was really interesting is the script gave me empathy for the dinosaurs that I never had. And I don't feel that way in the film.
Girl, that is one of my notes.
Really?
That's one of my notes is that so in this first movie, they utilize the dinosaurs more as monsters. And like the boogeyman scary. And they touch a little bit on the sympathy towards them with that we see it mostly through Grant and Ellie because they're dinosaur experts. They see these as living creatures. But the book and then the subsequent movies as well lean much more into the sympathy for the creatures of these creatures who've been brought back to life after millions of years and that they are being mistreated. The book has a lot to say about that.
Oh, I love that because you feel
none of
that
it's
in
good.
the script. Yeah, like you feel that in the script where like I was like, oh, and I will read when we get towards the end, I will read like one of the final lines in the script that actually like I thought was so beautiful that is not even remotely in the film. Mm. It couldn't be in the film, but you'll get what I'm saying. But like it was so weird that I've seen this movie so many times over the years. And but again, I do think the movie does really kind of makes them more monsters where these poor people, whereas like the script kind of makes you go like, and also Malcolm's character really hits like, oh yeah, like what are we doing here, guys?
How dare you do this?
And then and I think Grant and Ellie do a really great job of being like, in one scene in particular when they're like there's such a gap here like that they're supposed to adapt to this world and like I it was just very interesting where I was like wow like and I'm a freaking vegan bro like it doesn't take much for me to have empathy for animals and yet I just had never fully like applied that to the films and it was so weird to me to read the script and go like oh my gosh I'm thinking so much more about like feeling kind of like they didn't ask to come back.
Exactly.
Like,
and they're just doing what they do.
Exactly.
Even the raptors. And he says that like at one point, I think like Lex is afraid of them or she's afraid of the T-Rex or something. He's like, he's just kind of doing what he does. Like,
but I will say, Stephen, the only abode I have to pick with you, Stephen, and I will say it to your face. No, I'm kidding. But like the commonality of like Jaws was that felt like a monster versus a shark acting the way a shark does in its home. Yes. And like the dinosaurs feel like monsters versus how dinosaurs would act when brought back and just like trying to make sense of like where the fuck they are. You know what I mean? Yeah. But again, that's not even like a judgment. It's just like an interesting thing to think about, I guess, a little bit.
I think it makes most sense, especially for the time that it was made in, too. Yeah. Being in the 90s, I think today, and like I said, like with the more recent Jurassic World films, you do see that they lean really heavily into the plight of the dinosaurs for being like these entertainment pieces. Yeah. And how that's kind of the intrinsic messaging of it is that man plays God. And it's not nice to fool Mother Nature kind of thing because it's like you need to remember your place in the scheme of everything. And we've gotten a little bit too big for our britches because we're so smart. And how when you try and go up against these big archetypal portions of reality, like life and creation, you're always going to fucking lose. Yeah. And how our own hubris is what leads us to our demise. Even like we could go really deep into it, but like I love that part of it because it's like we think we're all big and bad, but like we're not actually the top of the food chain if you put us in a fucking room even with a lion or something.
Well, and I guess if you think about it, what's interesting is that Grant and Ellie maintain like you never see them being angry at the dinosaurs, even, like at all. Mm-hmm. In fact, they're navigating all of it kind of so remarkably. But again, that's the genius of the story because if anyone's going to navigate that world well, it's going to be those two people. Exactly. And that just speaks to the writing because you we get just enough of them before we dive into Jurassic Park to see that like this is their lives, this is what they love. They are lit up by this equally, but in different ways. I love how tenacious Ellie is. I love that she is equally as obsessed and into this in her own way. I love that. Like I think she's such a female character where you're just like, yes, girl.
That's one of the great changes from the book to the movie that they did, is that in the book, Ellie is not seen for a lot of the middle of it. So Ellie does go out Ellie and Grant in the book are not an item. Ellie is engaged to some doctor in Chicago, and they are like professional besties, and they have each other's back. And Malcolm gets a kick. I mean, Grant gets a kick out of seeing Malcolm like get the hots for her, because he's like, oh yeah, this kind of thing's happened before. But anyway, they go to Jurassic Park. They're getting the whole tour. They do all these things, and they go out into the park to see. They see in the book it's a Stegosaurus that's getting sick instead of the Triceratops, and also in the movie they never give you the answer for why the Triceratops are getting sick.
I like that,
which is in the script, and it's the same explanation for what's in the book. It's because they have like gizzard stones, like birds, to help grind up their food because they don't have teeth. And so every 6 weeks, the gizzard stones get smooth. And so they have to regurgitate them and then eat more stones for their gizzard. And when they eat the new stones, that's when they're eating the lilac berries, and that's what's making them sick.
But do you know what's, or wait, maybe I'm conflating two things I was going to say, because what's strange is some of what they did with the script in the movie is they took some dialogue from certain scenes and put it into others. And when they're all sitting down, she does say, you have plant life around here that is poisonous.
Exactly.
So it's almost, they like
put it here because it looks
good. They like
but
Easter egg it, but then they don't actually say like that's what it is. But she does acknowledge at some point, you guys have plant life that is toxic to them and you don't even know that.
Exactly. Because that's just how unprepared you are. So like she does that, and then she stays in the field, and that is how it is in the book. But then she ends up going back to the building or whatever, to the main center, and then all the shit breaks loose. And then once they find Malcolm and he's like all fucked up, in the book, Malcolm, like the T-Rex straight up bites him and throws him, and he has this huge like half moon like of like puncture wounds on his chest, and his legs all fucked up. And so for most of the book until the very, very end, Ellie is like tending to Malcolm as Grant and Muldoon and all them are out doing these things. So actually it's such a better choice for the screenplay in the movie to make her a more active character, actively pushing the story forward. And then at one point she even calls out, like, I love when she goes, we'll talk about the implications of sexism during a crisis situation later, but like, I'm going to go do this kind of thing. I just love that they really like hit on the head that she's, this badass.
Speaking of her description, I wrote down was my favorite.
Descriptions are so good.
So good. Hers was Dr. Ellie Sattler in her late 20s, athletic looking. There's an impatience about Ellie as if nothing in life happens quite fast enough for her. Hello, 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 hello,
Love.
hello, hello.
Love.
It's gorgeous. It's stunning. It's all that I need.
Gorgeous, sexy, beautiful. Donald Gennaro's description also is great. Page 2 says, Donald Gennaro, 40-ish, in a city man's idea of hiking clothes and $100 haircut, tries to keep up. Dear God, I love, like, this is a man out of his element, but he's trying, and then, like, when they're in the helicopter and it says, like, he's in head-to-toe Banana Republic, like, and you can still see the creases. But to get, now that we're into the script, I wanted to read page 1 for the listeners, because it is such a good opening, and it's pretty much what you see in the movie. But just, I love the way that David Cope writes. It says, exterior jungle, night. An eyeball, big, yellowish, distinctly inhuman, stares rapidly between wooden slats, part of a large crate. The eye darts from side to side, alert as hell. He also uses as hell a lot. Did you notice that?
No, that's really funny.
It's in there a lot. Like, he's like tired as hell, angry as hell,
love that.
blah, blah as hell.
That's funny.
It says, from side to side, alert as hell. From inside the crate, we get glimpses of what's on the other side of those wooden slats. Jungle foliage, men with rifles, searing searchlights. The view is herky-jerky as the crate is lowered into the thick of the foliage. In the jungle, the crate thuds to the jungle floor, and the ropes that held it aloft are unhitched and drop like so many dead snakes. A legend tries to place us, Isla Nublar, 120 miles west of Costa Rica. But to us, it's still the middle of nowhere. It's quiet for a second. A roar rises up from the jungle, deafening. The trees shake as something very, very large plows ahead through them, right at us. Every head gathered in this little clearing snaps directly. It turns in the direction of the sound as it bursts through the trees. It's a bulldozer. It drops its scoop and pushes forward into the back end of the crate, shoving it across the jungle floor towards an impressive fence structure that towers over an enclosed section of thick jungle. There's a guard tower at one end of this holding pen that makes it look a little like San Quentin. A door slides open in the pen, making a space as big as the end of the wooden crate. The bulldozer stops as the crate thuds up against the end of the opening. A series of warning lights on the rim of the pen lights up, showing contact has been made. The movement has agitated whatever is inside the crate, and the whole thing shivers as growls and snaps come from inside. Nobody moves for a second. Finally, a guy with more keys on his belt than anybody else gestures to the front of the crate. Two workers jump on top of the crate and grab hold of the handles on either side of the top of the end panel. The searchlights are trained on the door. The riflemen throw the bolts on their gun. The workers lift the panel, which rises with a grinding sound. That's page. It's a very action-heavy script, but I love how he's very, like, even though it's very wordy, I love how he takes a page of action and he doesn't really give you anything that you don't need to know.
Yeah.
Like, all that is there. It's a lot of words, but like what he's describing, it's like, it's all kind of necessary to get you into the flow of it. I just love it. This man knows the fuck how to write.
Yes, he does.
On page 7, I said, I love that they had Grant give tons of exposition about the dinosaurs when he's talking to the volunteers at the dig site. In the book, Grant has to figure out a lot of the information during the course of the book. Like the dinosaurs' vision being movement-based. He doesn't know that initially. Like he's because when he's talking in the book, he's like, oh, you might think that the raptor's visual acuity is movement-based like T-Rex, but actually they're coming at you from the side. All that he has to figure out like as they're seeing the animals in the wild. And even then, that movement thing never applies to a T-Rex. It applies to an herbivore that they see. And he's like kind of impressed that, oh yeah, he really can't see us when we're not moving. But I thought it was a great way to set up his expertise and to give us exposition that we're going to see. Like, we already know the danger and the stakes here, that these animals are so dangerous.
Right.
And to do it, talking to the volunteers there was fun, but then the change that they made for the movie was even better, to have him say that whole little thing about like, oh, it's going to cut up in your belly and all that, to like a little boy who's just being like a little asshole. I love that. It was an interesting choice.
Well, so it feels obvious why they gave Grant and Ellie a little bit of a love story, in the sense of like, I think the movie needed some level of that.
It raises the stakes.
But it is interesting, the choice that they made it so light. Like, it was like they're kind of together. Like, every
time I've seen the movie from when I was a little kid up until recently when I like read the book and now the script, I always wondered, because he does say to Malcolm in the car, like, yeah, we're together. But you don't really believe it. And they're not like super lovey-dovey.
But even the way he says it feels like because in the script, he kind of like doesn't fully answer it.
He says yes, then he says no.
Yeah.
And Malcolm's like, well, which one is it?
But the strange part is that like I was kind of like laughing to myself, because I was like, is this whole movie a narrative about becoming parents? Like, because it's like,
for them it is.
The theme for them is like,
his arc is that he learns to like children.
But it's like so prevalent. Like, I mean, so in the script, they're a little grittier with each other. They're a little more tired of each other's shit, while still very much like,
she's very over him at times.
She's very over him at times. Like, where they essentially in the beginning at the dig, there's like kids everywhere, whereas in the movie that you just see like that one kid, which is kind of random. Then in hindsight I was like, it is weird that all of a sudden like the seas part and there's one child there.
I always thought they were tourists, but they're
not.
dig volunteers.
Yeah.
He's like the child of someone who's volunteering to help dig up the bones.
And we only really know that because in the script they say that all of these diggers bring their kid, and then Grant at one point he's like, can't we find diggers that don't breed? And she goes, sorry, Alan, not everyone can be like you. And he groans and says, I don't want to talk about this. She goes, of course you don't. And then it's in the parenthetical, which David does so well.
Girl.
He puts, for the 100th time, they're too dependent. They've got no ideas of their own. They're expensive. We've got 4 summers of work here. We haven't raised the money for yet. And you want, and she goes, I don't want to talk about this. He says, what did we do the last time it came up? She goes, I got pissed and went to the other dig site for a week. And he goes, well, what's wrong with that? That was a great idea. And then it cuts to he wakes up in his tent and realizes like she's building her own tent away from him because she's pissed. So very different vibe than in the movie but it also makes it even stranger that it's like, are they together or are they not? When like children is such a topic of discussion between them, when we can't even fully discern if they're like actually together.
Yeah.
And in the movie, it's like she's very affectionate with him. Like, not very, but she's more affectionate with him.
Yeah.
She's sweet with him. And in the movie, it's like this very gentle poking where he's like, they smell them over. And she's like, oh, Grant. Like, she's like so silly about it.
Yeah.
Not heavy-handed, way lighter, way more likable.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And then you kind of see how she continues, like, you know, you see him warm up to the kids. And then, you know, you have the final shot of one of the final shots of the film where she's emotional looking at him with the kids in his arms. But I just thought that was so, and then like even the conversation he has with Malcolm when he's like, do you have kids? And Malcolm's like, oh yeah, I got 3. Like, you know, blah, blah,
kids
blah,
are
blah,
great.
blah.
Yeah.
That it is such a consistent theme through the film that it's just interesting that it's centered around a couple that's like kind of together.
I can see why they would probably take it out because in the script, like you said, it's never fully seen through. Like we see that they're a couple, not on the brink, but like they are in a rough patch, and it seems like they've been in a rough patch for a while. And we understand that, like, yeah, Ellie wants kids, Grant doesn't. Ellie wants to have more out of this relationship. Grant is happy where he is because his obsession, his fixation, is paleontology. And then, so if you're not really gonna, because it's kind of built in there, but if you're not really gonna go for that and show that that's an essential part of their arc, is that going through this horrible thing, all of a sudden they have that newfound appreciation for each other, which you're going to have either way, whether things are already great, you're going to appreciate the person even more, whatever. So if you're not going to, I think, make it more of a plot point that they're a little bit on rocky terms, I think you can't, you know, you don't really miss it, even though it is a bit odd because you still couldn't tell if they were together or not. What's interesting is in the book,
I would just love to like ask why that was the choice.
Yeah.
Because it's not a bad choice. It's just like a very interesting
There's so many things I want to ask. What was the choice for why'd you make this choice for the adaptation? And one of them, well, this one makes sense because in the book, Grant loves children. Grant specifically
Shut up.
In the book, Grant specifically says he loves kids because kids are like, they love dinosaurs. Like all kids love dinosaurs, and there's a little bit more explanation, but he likes kids, and so he's happy to help these kids out. He's just, you see that he's not quite
totally
as
motivator.
Good with kids, but it's also, again, he and Ellie aren't together. They're completely different things, so it doesn't have to be this big of a sticking point, which I found was interesting. Another thing, talking about kids, changing from the book to the script in the movie. In the book, the girl is the young one. She's like 8 years old. And the boy is like 13 and this like whiz kid dinosaur nut. So they switched them. And in the book, the boy is the one who, he's not a hacker, but like he's able to kind of figure out the computer system a little bit towards the end. But for obvious reasons, they hit the hacker thing more in the script, in the movie. That way we set up that she has the magic key to save them at the end.
Which I liked. I liked that. I was like,
I did too.
I went back to the script. I'm like, oh, this is literally one line in the script. Whereas in the movie, they really like let it raise the stakes. Where you're like, oh my God, she's going to do it. She's going to do it. And she does. And it's like super fun.
I prefer hacker.
Especially because for so much of it, she is scared. She's almost always scared. She's almost always the one that's like, that it was like fun to see her. Her arc was a big one where she like starts, you know, she's protecting Tim with the velociraptors, and then she saves the motherfucking Zay.
Yeah. I
mama.
But I just wonder, like, why flop them like that? And then I was wondering, because I've been thinking of this. I was like, is it maybe because it is such a male heavy movie, and like she has a little bit more to do? That character, like the older character, has a little bit more to do, so they wanted to add in.
Yeah, so it's not like a boys' club kind of. You know what I mean?
I don't know. Maybe, but isn't that interesting?
Very.
Hammond's character description. The character descriptions in this are really good. So good. Page 11, Hammond's character is described as this. It says, "The man turns around. John Hammond, 70-ish, is sprightly as hell, with bright, shining eyes that say, 'Follow me.' He finishes his swig of champagne and wipes his mouth on his sleeve. With sparkling eyes that say, 'Follow me.' Are you kidding me?
Hello?
Are you kidding me?
Hi. Hello.
Do you want the tea on Hammond?
Give me the tea on Hammond, because what I will say is, again, this movie exists in the zeitgeist of my brain because it's like has its own whatever that I've never really given that much thought to him. Whereas this time I was like, was specifically in the script. I think they find a slightly different tone in the movie, but in the script, I'm like, you are a narcissist. Yeah. You are an egomaniac who is pretending that this is about being for the children and blah, 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 blah. When you're like, your face is all over this thing. You have not taken even an ounce of the precautions. You're not interested in anyone highlighting what is wrong, what could be fixed. You want praise, you want endorsement, and that is it. Yeah. And I was so icked out by him.
Yeah. And then in the movie, they make him this like little grandpa who just wanted to, like, they kind of knock on the fact that he doesn't respect it fully, especially when Ellie kind of has that whole monologue moment over the ice cream, which is not in the script.
Yeah. And
the
also,
OG script that we read.
And he like doesn't say anything now.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, turd. Also, yeah, go eat your ice cream while your grandkids are MIA with dinosaurs. Boo.
And then only after that, after Ellie calls him out, is he like, people are dying. We have to go save them, like when they're in the bunker. But anyway, in the book, Hammond, and they do not mince this, is a full-blown evil fucking narcissistic, money-grubbing billionaire fuck-ass asshole. Like he... at one point even says like, oh yeah, we're going to be able to, Hammond says this in the movie. They kind of touch on this point, but it's Gennaro, the lawyer, that's saying it. Hammond's like, in the book, he's like, oh yeah, we can charge whatever we want for this. Like people are going to be willing to pay whatever. We can charge $2,000 a day and people are going to line up to do it.
Says it in the script.
He's like, we can do this. But in the movie, Hammond's like, no, I want Jurassic Park is for all children. Everyone should be able to.
But the lawyer's like,
in the book, Hammond specifically says, oh yeah, the children are going to love this. Well, the rich ones at least. He's like, and he defends this whole thing. He's like, well, when we're the creators of these things, we should be able to try. He goes on this whole diatribe of like, it's fucked up. He says like, it's fucked up that a person can create a medication, and if they want to charge $2,000 per dose for it, we can't do that. And how fucked up is that? He's this ultra capitalist, and he's only out for money, and like he's every step of the way is evil. And it turns out, so he surprises them in the book with the kids coming along on the thing, and they're all like, what the fuck? Because the reason they're there is it's the same. They are going to inspect the island to see if it's viable, and if not, they're going to shut it down because the Japanese investors are like, why do people keep dying? Anyway, so he invites the children along, and in the book, the reasoning of it, because first he's like, oh, well, I want you to see like how like our target audience is going to react to it. Kind of similar how it is in the movie. But then ultimately at the end, we find out he only invited the children there because he thought it would dissuade Gennaro from wanting to tear down the place. He was like, you'll be less critical if the kids are here. So he used them as a fucking pawn.
Wow.
Do you want to know what happens to him in the end?
Yeah.
Okay, so in the end... the ending's very different in the book, but I love this. So Hammond is so indignant the whole time about like, oh, don't hurt the animals, don't do this, whatever. And then once everything's back up and running and good to go-ish, he is going to go back to his little compound. He has this like little bungalow that's like a little fortress of its own. And he's going back there and he hears the T-Rex roaring. And it's like he gets scared and he runs into the woods and then falls down this embankment. and like sprains or breaks his ankle. He breaks it. And so he can't move. And so he's like, oh shit. And so Hammond's like laying there on the forest floor for a long time. We go away to something else and we found out that the Tyrannosaurus Rex sound that he heard is the kids playing in the control room with different sounds that you can over the speakers that are like park wide. So like it's a funny kind of thing that that they revealed that. Anyway, we cut back to Hammond and he's there trying to climb up this hill, even though his ankle's broken, and he's like in his mind, he's like, oh, I can't die like this. Someone's going to find me. And then the compies, have you seen the second movie? Jurassic Park? You know, in the beginning with the little girl where she's on the beach and the tiny little compy comes up and like bites her. First of all, that's in the opening of the book, not in the second one. They put it in the second movie, but that's fully in the opening of the first book. Which is interesting. Anyway, they build in that the compies are like, they're like little tiny chicken-sized dinosaurs that are scavengers. And they have a slow-acting venom that when they bite you, it makes you very like spacey and lulled out and you just kind of want to go to sleep. Oh. And so Hammond, and they're scavengers, so they only go after dead or dying creatures. So it's so perfectly like ironic that he is trying to struggle up this hill. And then you see a compy and he's like, get the fuck out of here. He like throws a rock at it. And like, then all these other compies come. Stop. And then one of them bites him on the ankle and he's like, oh fuck. And then like you're in, cause like the way the book's written, you experience it through each person's different perspective and you hear just their take on everything going on. It really builds a nice tension. But in Hammond, he's like first being so indignant about everything. And then he gets bitten and all of a sudden he's like, and then he's like, everything's fine. Like, he's just a little tired. You know what? This is fine. And it ends up like they all jump on him and they fucking eat him alive. And Hammond dies.
But what's his inner monologue then when
he's like, it's like Hammond laid there and like he couldn't even remember why he was upset or something. And then like he saw one of the compies like jump on his chest and he's like, he can't believe how light and fragile the animals are. And it's like the way this guy, I forgot exactly what it is, but he says like, and he didn't even really care when the compy bends down to like take a bite out of his neck. And he's just kind of like sitting there in this like blissful state, tranked out from this dinosaur venom. Isn't that great?
That's really good.
That's what I want to see in the movie.
Yeah,
like,
but
I want Hammond to be evil and I want to see him get eaten alive.
First off, agreed, but an absolutely totally different movie.
Completely different. That's what, okay, here's my pitch for Universal. My pitch is do a mini series, 6-7 episodes max,
and
do the book verbatim because it's so different. The whole journey in the middle is different too. We need to get back into the script, but like there's so much that's different. Like Grant and the kids go on this whole river raft excursion through the park. There's an aviary in the park. They go through the aviary and these big pterodactyls are attacking them. There's parts where like the T-Rex is chasing them throughout the park, it keeps trying to get to them. It's like this, like it's very intelligent, and like it's trying to get them when they're in the raft. There's this whole thing.
Ooh, a raft, that would have been good.
It's so good. Dennis Nedry's, back to the script. Dennis Nedry's,
give it to
character description.
On
page 15, it says, Dennis Nedry is in his late 30s, a big guy with a constant smile that could either be laughing with you or at you. You can never tell. He sits at a table in the back of a Central American cafe eating chicken, really picking the bones clean. Nedry's already sweating in the morning heat.
Oh, his character is like so ick, but God, did that actor really take it to the next
He's from my
level.
hometown, you know.
I'm actually annoyed that I don't know his name.
I don't know his name either.
My internet's being weird, so I'm not.
But he is from our hometown. Yeah. And Dennis Nedry, did you pick up, like, because they kind of throw it away in the script in the movie, but did you pick up that the reason Nedry is willing to fuck over Hammond is because he wasn't paid?
No, in fact, I actually was curious about it because he references, specifically in the movie, they keep talking about...
Like, don't get cheap on me.
Like how he's like, I'm sorry that you have issues with the pay, but...
So this is the explanation from the book, which I would have liked to see a little bit of this in there too. Yeah. Granted, with the pacing of the movie, with the time frame you have, you don't have time to go into all this, but it would heighten the... what's the intentions of the characters.
But that being said, what I thought was strange about them not revealing more of why he's making it seem like he's not getting paid or he's getting paid so little is that Hammond continuously says, like, what's the word I'm looking at now? Oh my God, I'm having an absolute brain fart. When they're eating ice cream and he said no expense.
I spared no expense.
I spared no expense. But you're going to go cheap on the person who runs your.
Exactly.
That I'm like, I guess, is that further just saying how much of a liar Hammond is?
Well, yeah, I mean, it's a little, it doesn't really fully sync up with how the movie stands. In the book, Nedry did all this work, had all of his team working overtime on this shit, and then when Hammond he didn't give him the full scope of the job, and so when Nedry said, you have to pay me more to get this done, Hammond was like, no, and then Hammond sent all these letters to all the different people that Nedry's worked for saying that he's inconsistent, that he's a liar. He's like, I will ruin you. He was like, I will ruin you if you don't do this work for free and finish this job up. I'll ruin your reputation and you'll never work again.
I guess I get.
And so Nedry's like, fuck you when Dodgson comes to him and tells him like, we'll give you this to get the embryos out.
Okay.
Isn't that great?
That's so great. I get why they couldn't have put all that in there. Especially because Hammond was not being played as evil. He was just being played as like a more muted whatever.
Yeah.
Narcissist pretending that he cared about kids. I don't know. But like, I do wish they would have given a smidgeroo of, I guess they maybe figured that his back and forth with Hammond, them talking about how he, is not getting paid enough or whatever.
Yeah.
But it would have made all of it make a little bit more sense if we would have understood that like this guy's been fucked over. That being said, I guess the other thing though is that the crazy part to me is that it's like the real monster, the real error here was actually that of the humans of the people.
Hammond set his own downfall was created by him for fucking people over.
Yeah.
And it's how we create our own demise. It's so great.
You do ask yourself, like, obviously Jurassic Park, the whole idea is so dangerous. But that being said, you're like, if not for the absolute security turnoff, maybe it would have, granted the fact that could happen, all that. And again, I thought the script made me realize, again, things I didn't always notice in the movie, especially obviously growing up. First few times I watched it, I was much younger. But like the room that they're all in, the control room, it took the script to make me realize it's like still has wires hanging and it's like not even polished. They
don't really do that in the movie, do they? It's more polished.
They have like, but they have one shot where you see Hammond and you do see, like, when he's debating with him, you do see some quartz. Now, granted, a little bit more of a throwaway, but I actually started going like, oh, did they cut that? They didn't cut it. They just don't make a meal of it. Whereas in the script, it's a lot more obvious that the room is, like, not even really that well done.
Yeah.
Interesting. You know, one thing I thought was also quite interesting was in the script, and I'm curious if this was in the book, on page 35, Wu says, because Malcolm is starting to ask questions like, because he's like, we only breed women. And I love Malcolm's like, life finds a way, baby. Like, come on. But then Wu's like, I assure you we're in control here. All of our protective systems have backups. We not only control reproduction, we can also interrupt the animal's lifespan if need be. Ellie says, you mean you kill them? He says, it's a security precaution. We inserted a gene that makes a single faulty enzyme in protein metabolism. As a result, they cannot manufacture the amino acid lysine. Unless they continually get lysine from us in tablet form, they'll go into a coma within 7 days and die. Ellie says, you mean kill them? Hammond says, that one was just to cover liability, just for the lawyers. We never intend to use that. That's completely wiped from the film. And I think it's probably just because they want the stakes of like, no, there's no backup.
Arnold does mention it at the end. He's like, we could, at the very end,
he does?
Arnold, they're trying to figure out what to do, and Arnold's like, what about the lysine contingency? One of them, or Muldoon, I think, is like, what about the lysine contingencies? Like, should we put that into play? And they're like, what's that? And Arnold says, well, they can't produce lysine, so if they do this, and then unless they get it to us from tablet form, whatever. Oh,
so it's more like I didn't even notice
it's very thrown away, but they also, again, of course, hit that way harder in the book. It's like a whole thing, because in the book, creatures do get off of the island, and like that little girl gets attacked by a compy, and there's like all this stuff on mainland Costa Rica where like there's like this mysterious thing happening where they think it's this like jungle spirit or whatever, but it's clearly the dinosaurs have gotten out. And then at the very end, in the epilogue, they talk about how there's this strange path of what, like, essentially you see that the velociraptors got out and they're migrating west, and that they're only eating vegetables that are high in lysine, like soybeans and stuff like that. So it's like, anyway, they get out, but it's a much bigger point in the book. I loved on page 56 of the script. This was like really clever because, again, it's just for the reader. I love the contrast between the super scientific explanations of poop in the action and then Malcolm's more blunt, direct explanation in the dialogue. So it's very cheeky and fun. So on page 56, it's when they're looking at the Triceratops big poop pile. It says, as the weather grows darker, Ellie, Grant, Harding, and Malcolm are grouped around an enormous spore of Triceratops excreta that stands at least waist high. Then Malcolm says, that's one big pile of shit. Like, I love saying like spore and excreta. It's like so scientific, and then like that's the contrast. Yep. So fun.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, just that was it.
Oh, on page 45, I thought, like, simple, gorgeous. He puts, they pass through two enormous primitive gates, torches blazing on either side. The gates swallow the cars. First off, the gates swallow the cars?
Yes, okay.
Ushering them into the park, verdant jungle, world beyond, into Jurassic Park. Like,
are you kidding me? Also, those gates, those iconic Jurassic Park gates, created by David Cope. That is not in the book.
Shut up.
I know, right?
There is no Jurassic Park without those for me.
Right? You know what else is...
It's my favorite when you go to Universal and you walk on the ride and you see those. You're like, ah!
Yes. You know what else I loved that I wanted to scream when I saw it on the page? I had to text Sev about it because I was so jazzed because I couldn't text you because I had to save it for the pod. In the end, when the two kids are in the restaurant and they're eating all the desserts.
Yeah.
And Lex is eating Jell-O, and then like she's bringing it to her mouth and she stops and the Jell-O starts jiggling because she's having tremors from fear because she sees the raptor in the background. That's on the page. That's right there on the page. Like, he describes that. Like, she brings it to her mouth, stops. Like, I don't know why I always thought that a moment like that would have just been like a director's choice and not written to the script. And I thought that...
No, this movie has a lot of that.
So, like...
Specific.
Iconic. That's an iconic shot. Everyone knows that shot. And I was like, to see that on the page, like, this is fucking crazy.
No, that's what I mean is when I was looking at how much of the action lines up with what he wrote, I was like, that's wild.
Wild
Like,
vision.
if there was ever going to be a movie where they were going to make some different artistic choices, even for the sake of the animatronic, whatever they're using, it would be this one. And yet they don't really. They pretty much just do what he wrote. It's insane.
Another thing I liked that is a classic David Cope that I called out from the Death Becomes Her script. On page 66, he does that cool formatting thing for a sign again, where for the words that you see on a sign, he places it where you'd place dialogue.
Yep.
It says, danger, electrified fence. This door cannot be opened when fence is armed. I just love it so much. I love that choice.
I know. He really...
Also, you know what else is not in the book that is iconic? One of the most iconic visual and sound cues in the movie is the impact tremors and indicating the T-Rex is walking towards them by seeing the puddles jolt. That's not in the, like, they talk about the ground shaking in the book when they're walking, like David Cope adding that when they're in the car and like Timmy looks at the cup and then later you see like the footprint and it's in there. Like, that is
so good. It's insane.
It's insane. How'd this man think of that? I'm just so impressed. I do want to read how it's written for the peeps. On page 70, this is what it says. It says, in the front car, while Tim stares out the window with the goggles, Lex keeps banging her legs against the seat. Boom, boom, boom. Tim, did you feel that? They don't answer. Tim reaches forward and stills Lex's kicking legs. He jumps back into the front seat. Gennaro, hey, Tim pulls off the goggles and looks at the 2 clear plastic cups of water that sit in the recessed holes on the dashboard. As he watches, the water in the glasses vibrates, making concentric circles. Then it stops, and then it vibrates again, rhythmically, like from footsteps. Boom, boom, boom. Gennaro's eyes snap open as he feels it too. He looks up at the rearview mirror. There is a security pass hanging from it that is bouncing slightly, swaying from side to side. As Gennaro watches, his image bounces too, vibrating in the rearview mirror. Boom, boom, boom. Are you kidding me?
It's
like even down to like
so
his image in the rearview mirror vibrating. It's
it's genius.
Everyone has been in their car, like looking in the rearview mirror, and there's some car
well, let me say this:
observational things in here.
Yes, if you are writing an action script, reading this, the way he is able to build tension through action on the page is stunning. It is
truly
gorgeous. Like truly, that's a note I had in here where it's like even in the beginning when Grant and Ellie don't fully know like why they're there or what's going on. And she's like, this plant isn't supposed to be here. This plant is extinct. And it's like, and it says like Grant's looking at tree stumps until all of a sudden it says like, and he looks up higher and higher and higher. And he puts it one below the next, like, and higher and higher. And then he realizes, oh my God, it's a dinosaur. Like he's really good at finding ways to utilize space on the page to build tension and build and like raise the stakes on the, like you feel it and see it on the page in a way that's really clean and clear, but effective. Like it's really, really
formatting.
Effective.
One
of my favorite ads that were so iconic is this line is said. Malcolm goes, God creates dinosaurs. God destroys dinosaurs. God creates man. Man destroys God. Man creates dinosaurs. In the script, that's it. She just like is like, oh, and then in the frickin' movie, God bless whether it was Steven or whoever frickin' brought this up. Ellie goes without even like breaking. She goes, dinosaurs eat man. Woman inherit the earth. Hell, and they're like, and then she just like moves on, and like the guys are like, eat.
They made her so much more feminist in the movie. It's so good.
And like effortlessly, like she's just, I just love her. Like
I loved that ad too. Not seeing that on the page was interesting. I was like, oh shit.
I know, and she delivers it so well.
She really does. On page 74, I love the way this action was written. It is when. Okay, it's when the T-Rex is attacking the kids in the car and he's smashing them down. And in the movie, it's like when like the car gets smashed down, like the mud rushes into the car and everything's so visceral.
It's so visceral.
This is how it's written on the page. This is just a small section of it. It says, inside the car, Tim and Lex are trapped inside the rapidly flattening car. As the frame continues to buckle, they crawl towards the open rear window, the car collapsing behind them. Mud and rainwater pour into what little space there is left. Tim is ahead, nearing the back window, when there is a crunch and a seat comes down, pinning him. Like, this one sentence right here, really, I'm so, like, jazzed off it. That it says, as the frame continues to buckle, they crawl towards the open rear window, the car collapsing behind them. Like...
So visual. It's insane.
Insane.
It's wild.
Little simple things like that, of, like, the car crushing behind them as they're crawling forward, seeing it executed in one sentence like that, and you can see such a clear image in your head, it never ceases to fucking blow my mind.
Truly, if you're writing an action film, you have to be reading this script because it's
actually, yes.
It's really impressive.
You do.
Here's an example at the end of the script of what we were talking about as far as empathy for these dinosaurs that you don't really get in the movie. At the very end, it says, as they rise into the air, they all stare out the windows, looking down on the park as it spreads out below them. Down in the park, the helicopter soars over a vast plain. The tyrannosaur, which is still feeding on the remains of the dinosaur it ran down and killed, looks up at the helicopter. It throws its head back and roars, waving its little forelimbs at the strange things in frustration. As the helicopter moves off, the T-Rex just stares silently with its huge yellowing eyes. It's a moment of utter bewilderment for the Rex, and we feel almost ... sad for her. It actually, like, got me a little bit. I'm not going to lie.
I love that.
Like, it was one of those where I was like, oh, shit. Now, again, I don't know that you could have
really shown that.
I don't know if it could have hit the same way seeing it the way it did reading Sad for Her. Something about like the gender of it too, where you're like, not even that's silly to say, but for some, like I don't think the gender of the dinosaur matters.
I know what you're trying to say, though.
But it was a specification. It was like a new we don't know if the T-Rex is a man or a man, a boy, a female or a male, whatever. But not that it matters, but we know no details about the T-Rex other than it's just a fucking T-Rex trying to kill these people. That again, to end it that way, to end when we've seen all these people die, we've seen. This whole time they're going out of their way to try all these different things to go like, we feel bad for the dinosaur that was resurrected, did not ask to be here, and is going like...
And now it's being left on this fucking island, fuck off, bye. You want to know what happens in the book? At the very end, they blow the whole island up. They carpet bomb the island. And as they're flying away in the helicopter, it is blowing up, glowing red,
you know what
and
I
on
hate to
fire
say?
in the back.
That is, I think, what... If someone did this, that's what we would do.
That's
sadly.
absolutely what would happen.
Wow. So the book is like gritty.
The book is very gritty. Yeah.
The book is like a real read on like how things would actually.
It skewers humanity and our like blatant disregard for the natural order of things. Wow. And how we create all of our own problems from all the tiny pieces of overlooked minutia or seeming minutia. That then leads. It's like the whole chaos theory thing. Like most of the chapters start with a little quote from Ian Malcolm about chaos theory, and like how
I like that.
At this stage of whatever is when this system collapses and crumbles, and like
I like that.
It's very centered around the chaos theory of it all, and how we are our own.
I like that as like a yeah.
Mm-hmm. One thing that the Dilophosaur, the dinosaur that kills Dennis Nedry with the frill on its neck, completely different in the book.
Shut up.
Yes. I love this change too, because like whose idea, I mean, it was David Cope's, I'm assuming, because it's in the script, the new dinosaur. Yeah. So in the book, those dinosaurs are 10 feet tall. They don't have a frill on their neck. They do spit venom, but they're like big dinosaurs. And so the choice to make it smaller, and in the script, it's kind of adorable how they introduce it. Like, so Nedry's trying to get his car out of like the rut, and like the Dilophosaur like pops up and it like wants to play with him. Or it, like David in the script says like it seems playful. Yeah. And then Dennis like throws something at it, hits it, and it like, kind of is like,
hit you on the way back down, and you're like,
okay. And then the dinosaur kind of gets its feelings hurt.
And the dinosaur said, and I took that shit personally.
And now you're done. And I loved because like in the script they kind of signify that, so he that it spits the spit on him first, hits him in the chest, and Nedry touches it, and then like he in the script he talks about how he looks at the hand that touched it and he kind of like moves his fingers. That's because in the book the way they describe the Dilophosaur's poison is that like it starts like numb and like like it's like really poisonous, and so like he starts to kind of like lose feeling in his hands and stuff like that. But obviously we can't see that. But I loved that change because that's also one of the, like, aside from the raptors and the T-Rex, I think the other most iconic dinosaur you're going to think of is that frill neck one. I was obsessed with that dinosaur as a kid.
Dude, it's on the ride in Universal, and it's like so fun, and it spits water out at you. It's and like so fun.
Who like?
Yeah,
how way do you more think iconic, to way change more that for the story? It's genius.
Also, because the film has so many large dinosaurs that it would have felt benign. True. It would have just been like one more whatever. Whereas this, like, it's such a standout moment.
Yeah.
And it's like one of the only times where you're like, yeah, kill that dude. Like, he's such a dick. Like, go for it.
So nice. That's how it is in the book, where you're kind of like, you don't want to see Grant and Ellie die. Like, they're good ones. And like, there's a few other ones that are good people. But like, generally, you're kind of like, yeah, fuck these people up. Like, go get them.
These selfish people up.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so this is small, but like, there's a lot of things like this from script to screen, where in the script, when Hammond first meets Grant and Ellie in the trailer, they literally go like from that to the helicopter. Yeah. Whereas in the film, he meets them and they reference getting on the helicopter, but then they go right to how do you say his
Nedry.
Nedry. Yeah. I don't know. My brain like doesn't want to.
Meeting with
Nedry,
Dodgson.
Which makes sense because I think they want to let you know very quickly there's conflict happening here. Yeah. Everything you're about to see has an underlying, there's something else going on. This isn't, We're not just going to go into this and say like something might go wrong. We're going to let you know something is going to go wrong.
Yeah.
Which I think was smart. It was a small
It is.
adjustment, but I do think, because I went, oh, I was like, and then I went, oh, it was like, yeah, you need to let us know a little quicker that things are awry.
Awry.
Things are
it's so good. On page 91, when the T-Rex chases the car, I thought it was so fun and well written. It says, Ellie fumbles for the keys, turns the Jeep over, and slams it into gear. She drops the clutch, hits the gas, and tears ass out of there. But the Jeep is slow to work through the first few gears. Terrified, Ellie dares to look down to the side view mirror, which tells her objects are closer than they appear. And they sure are. The T-Rex is still gaining on the slowly accelerating Jeep. All three of them stare back at the Rex in terror, which means they don't see the half-fallen tree branch right in front of them, blocking the path of the road. Muldoon looks back first, shouts, and they all duck. The windshield hits the branch and shatters as the Jeep flies ahead, really picking up speed now. The T-Rex just runs right through the branch, smashing it entirely. Losing ground now, the dinosaur makes a final lunge for the Jeep and crunches into the left rear quarter panel. They're bounced around pretty badly. Malcolm is knocked into the front, and in doing so, knocks the gear shift into neutral. The engine races. The T-Rex closes in again, but Ellie slams it back into gear and guns it. The T-Rex gives up, fading into the distance. They drive in silence for a while, all scared out of their wits. Malcolm, think they'll have that on the tour?
And he delivers it so well.
Perfection.
Perfection.
There's
so many good one-liners in it. That is in the script.
Yeah.
The one that's not in the script that I loved is after the whole sequence with Tim in the car and Grant rescuing him and having to go up and they're scaling down as fast as they can. They jump down and then the car falls on top of them. And then Tim goes, and we're back in the car again.
I love that line. It's so
and he goes,
cute.
at least we're not in the tree. Like, it's so cute. It was on the page, and it is so fucking cute when he goes, I threw up.
I know.
It's so little kiddish. I literally, as
is.
a parent, I was like, that is so little kiddish. And when he was like, oh, that's okay. And then he doesn't move, and he goes, I won't tell anyone you threw up. I was like, that is the realest
girl
back and forth of all time.
It really is. And so sweet of Grant. It's
you're
okay,
like,
Tim,
you're in a park with a
up.
T-Rex that almost killed you.
You're up in a tree right now in a car.
That you threw up.
But but
it's so real. That is how a child would respond.
Yes. And then reassuring him that I won't tell. Like, I was like, God, that's so good.
Precious. And it was acted so well.
It really was acted so well. Oh yeah, in the script on page 101, Lex plays with that baby Triceratops. That's also in the book. They have a whole moment with that. That didn't make it through. I mean, I see why.
Yeah.
There's a lot of baby animals in the book, actually. There's 2 T-Rexes in the book. There's a full-grown one, then there's a juvenile one. So there's like double trouble because they're going after them at different points in time. And then there's like a baby raptor that has a thing in the beginning.
Oh, wow. So like,
yeah.
When he's like, you didn't tell me that the freaking Hammond when they go.
Oh, why didn't you tell me it was hatching? I'm here for all the.
So that they
fuck. So they imprint on him. You narcissistic fuck. Get out of here.
Yucko.
Yes, absolute yucko.
Yucko, yuck. I was like, you're gross. Like, yeah, go eat your ice cream, Hammond.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly.
I will say,
eat your ice cream and choke on it, please.
It took Laura Dern. Like, it took a real actor to be able to, in that scene.
I doesn't know all the power of this place, but that power's out now. What do you think the difference between, this is actually on page 97. Okay. I said, interesting that Ellie's iconic monologue with the ice cream isn't in the version of the script that we read. In this one, it just says, she just replies, people are dying, John. And I said, ask Carly which she thinks is more powerful. Because I thought that was a powerful line for her to just reply with that.
I have to be honest, her monologue didn't do more for me.
Let's read it for the listener so they can see the difference, because I'm sure everyone has seen this movie. Page 97, it says, hey, okay, let's go up here. It says, Interior restaurant night. Ellie comes into the darkened restaurant, following the source of the flickering light. A candle burns at a table in the corner. John Hammond sits at the table alone. There's a bucket of ice cream in the middle, and he's eating a dish of it, staring down morosely. Ellie draws up to the table. He looks at her. His eyes are puffy. His hair is messed up. He's the most subdued we've ever seen him. Hammond. It was all melting. Ellie just nods. He slides an extra spoon across the table to her. She picks it up, pulls the bucket over to her side of the table, and starts eating. Ellie. Malcolm's okay for the moment. I gave him a shot of morphine. Hammond doesn't respond. They eat in silence for a few moments. A tear runs down Ellie's cheek. She reaches up and brushes it away impatiently. Hammond notices. He reaches out and pats his hand over hers. He pats it reassuringly. You want to be Hammond?
Wait, hold on. My computer is acting up.
It's okay.
I have the ring of death right now.
Oh, no.
I'm stuck on it.
He pats it reassuringly. Hammond, they'll all be fine. Who better to get the children through Jurassic Park than a dinosaur expert? Ellie just nods. Another pause. Hammond breaks it again. You know, this park's really made for children. The children of the world love dinosaurs, and they're going to just delight in this place. Did I tell you we're planning a little play area, too, where the children can pet and hold the smaller animals before they go out into the park? Ellie just looks at him, not sure what his state is. He leans forward to her. Do you want to know the secret? This is the first business enterprise I've ever undertaken almost entirely for someone else. I know, right? I'll make money for sure, but that doesn't mean much to me. Not anymore. I did it for the kids, to watch their faces shine with the joy of seeing the animals they so love. Ellie. People are dying, John. There's a long pause. Hammond avoids her gaze. Ellie reaches out and takes the whole bucket of ice cream, sinking her spoon into it. She eats. So does Hammond. Finally, Ellie. It's good. Hammond. Spared no expense.
I think it absolutely works that way.
I think it absolutely works too. It's actually pretty powerful for her to be in awe that this man is still being like, we're going to go forward with this and we're going to do this. And actually, I didn't do this for myself. Yeah, I'm going to make money, but this is for the kids. I'm so nice.
Meanwhile, his grandkids are still...
lost in the park, potentially dead.
But they'll be fine.
Mutilated?
This is one of those, again, we've talked about this throughout the whole podcast, where like most of the time the monologue is not moving the needle for people emotionally. It's often the one-liners that she still says a version of people are dying, John.
Yeah.
I think she does her monologue and then he says something and then she's like, people are dying, John. That still lands more to me than her monologue. Like I actually it kind of went in and out for me.
I agree.
You know what I mean?
I agree because that monologue is iconic in its own way. Just because like everyone's, especially when she eats the ice cream, she's like, "It's good."
Yeah, and it speaks to her as an actor though, because it is such a flip emotion, and the stakes are high. All these things are going on. But I did think more than her monologue. I thought to go from people are dying, John, you fucking psychopath.
Yeah.
That part was not in it, but that was my own edit. And then to be able to go to the ice cream and then, because I think there's also probably a part of her that's like, but also I should shut the fuck up right now because we're still, whatever it was. It was such a great acting moment because she really made it believable. Because on the page, I thought her saying people are dying, John, was so powerful. And then seeing that she then ate the ice cream and said it's good, I was like, that's like,
I loved it. And I would have loved to see a take of Laura Dern doing it just that way. Because like it works in the movie. It like just nails home the theming and the messaging of it more.
Yeah.
But artistically, I prefer how it is in the script.
Agreed.
You know what else I realized after
I finally got the
after
script up again.
watching the movie and seeing that scene of him saying when he responds spared no expense, I had this realization that, and this is complete speculation on my part. Speculation complete. So Hammond has a through line of saying spared no expense. He says it 3 times.
That's right.
Throughout. In the beginning.
We call that a runner.
A runner. So he says it in slightly different context throughout.
Yeah.
So let me read what I wrote. It says, I like the through line of Hammond saying spared no expense. He hides behind money and entrusts it to keep him safe from consequences of all kinds. This comes full circle later when he's eating ice cream with Ellie and she makes him confront the reality of what he's created. So it works better in the script in that sense where like he's still being like, we're still going to do this. And actually we're going to build upon it. And next time we do it, it'll be perfect. And she's like, there isn't going to be a next time. What the fuck are you saying? People are dying. Like you're not respecting the power of this. and then going back to like, but he's not going to hear that. So I'm just going to eat this fucking ice cream and compliment it. And he's going to say spared no expense. But it's more of like he's like, yeah, spared no expense. Like, oh, that's kind of like more of a regretful tone.
Yeah.
And I just like that it's showing his motivations is that he's so money based. Oh yeah, this is so great. Isn't that great? Chilean sea bass, spared no expense. Did this. Oh, we're going to have this, spared no expense. And it's like, oh yeah, you spared no expense except the fucking lives of people who are dead now.
And doesn't that make it so interesting? But maybe this is further to the point that he was so cheap with.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Spared no expense except you cheaped out Nedry, the guy who's building the whole fucking system for your park, which has now fucked you over.
But again, they don't really hit that home enough in the film.
They could in a miniseries. Universal, if you're listening,
Call
6 to 7 part miniseries, baby. We're ready for it.
We're ready. It's time.
It is absolute time. Verbatim for the book.
It's time. Not going to break anyone's ears with that.
Yeah.
That is the end of my notes.
Yeah, I was looking at mine. My last ones are that the electrified fence was not in the book and how that's just so fucking genius.
Good.
So genius. I had them climbing over it and then they'd be cutting back and forth with Ellie.
It's done so well. It's like beep boop,
it
beep
really
boop, beep boop.
is.
And you know
it's actually formatted so
well.
nicely in the script. It's
the
very,
formatting
very good.
is honestly, it's stunning.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna keep saying that.
Stunning.
Stunning.
And then page 120, I said, OMG, the Jello scene is written in. And this is how it's described, Script Babies, if you want to hear. It says, she digs into the food, coming up with a spoonful of lime Jello. She holds it towards Timmy to feed him, but her hand freezes halfway to his mouth. Tim looks up and sees the expression on her face. She stares over her shoulder, eyes wide, the Jello quivering in her shaking hand.
And her little face, she's like,
so good.
It's so good.
And then my last note was page 123, which this, again, is fully in the action, which this makes more sense to me that it's in the action than the Jello one, which I just thought could be a directorial thing. But the fake out when they're in the kitchen hiding from the raptors and Lex gets into that oven and then the raptor sees her reflection. But like when you see it as a viewer, like you think it's going to jump on her, but then the reveal that it's a reflection is just so good.
It's so
like,
good.
I love shit like that. It's so clever.
And that they can pull it off.
Yes.
Because it's one thing to write it and hope that you can, but then when it actually it delivers.
And just, it's just all so good.
So
I lurved.
I literally don't have a daddy don't this time.
I don't either. Yeah. And I only have one daddy do.
And I've decided I'm really not going to push myself to come up with them if they're not. And
Same.
I only have one daddy do too.
I've decided the same.
My daddy do was find ways to build tension on the page. I think that's something David did in like a superhuman way, which again, I just said, but like, I literally kept thinking like he did such an amazing job with, there is so much action in this script. And while at the end, I got a little bogged down, that being said, he is so specific and the visuals are so clear and he's using formatting that really helps your eye most of the time hone in on it and give you the feel that you're meant to be having, which really is such an impressive thing to pull off. Like it's craft, period.
Absolutely.
And I just was like, ooh, take that extra time to, if your script really relies on tension building the way that this film does.
Yeah.
This cannot suggest this script enough.
Truly.
Enough.
Yeah, read this and see specifically how it's written is incredible too. But like Carly said, the way he breaks it up for your eye, the formatting is
really
so
incredible.
brilliant.
It's so supportive.
Yes, it supports the tension, it supports the tone, everything. So yeah, definitely like read this. And then if you have an action heavy script, go do a draft where you're only focusing on formatting and play with some different changes, adding more white space and using hyphens in a fun way. It really, really, really works.
It really does.
What's
your daddy do?
My daddy do is singular daddy do. Keep action to the point when working with big set pieces. There's many scenes in this script that are all action, and another writer could have lingered in these scenes for far too long, giving us way more explanation than necessary. But Cope, being the brilliant writer that he is, found a way to keep the action as compact as possible, though with enough of his artistic flair to still have it be flavorful and engaging. The scene where the T-Rex chases the car on page 91 is a particularly good example of this. When you have to write a scene that's all action, do so economically but entertainingly.
Craft.
Great.
Great.
Do you have any other questions about the book?
Oh, I feel like you covered most of them.
Yeah. I'll give you some highlights of fun things that are different.
Yeah.
The climactic scene with the raptors. One of them is Hammond. No, not Hammond. Grant is in the hatchery, and he has to. There's like 4 raptors in there with him, and he injects these different eggs with this like crazy ass poison and like rolls it across the floor to try and get them to eat it. And then at one point he has to like inject one with the thing. I thought that was a fun set piece. And then probably one of the biggest changes that's never mentioned in the script is that the raptors got out, and the raptors have bred in there's like a whole colony of raptors in these like tunnels. And like they have to go in at the end, like the final thing that they do after getting the park back up and running is they have to go and see how many raptors are in this nest of raptors. And they go down there, and then they see that the raptors are like obsessed with the cargo ships that come in and out.
Oh.
And because they want to migrate is what it comes down to. Oh, and there's also a whole through line. There's a whole tension through line where only Grant and the 2 kids know that there's a few raptors that got onto one of the cargo ships. And it's like they have it's 18 hours till it gets to shore. So one of the reasons that Grant and the kids want to get back to the main lodge so bad is that they want to tell people, you got to stop that ship because there's raptors aboard it. Because I think Tim saw it with the night vision goggles. They see it on there.
Like such a good.
Isn't that fun? Okay, if someone steals this idea, do it, whatever. I was showering the other day, and I had this very fun movie that came into mind where it would be a total like just spin-off, one-off Jurassic Park story where it is the story of the people on the cargo ship over that 18-hour thing where they like people are dying, getting killed in these mutilated ways, and they don't know that it's raptors on there.
Oh my God. I love that.
Isn't that fun?
That's so fun.
I don't think that'll ever get made, but Universal, let's make it.
Universal, call me maybe.
Yeah.
Wait, pause for 2 seconds. One note that I had that I just remembered that feels kind of insane that it's like they don't quote unquote like realize it until towards like the end of the film is that frogs can change their sex. You're telling me you got the top scientists to bring back dinosaurs, and they're so goddamn certain that they're all female, they can't change whatever. And then Dr. Grant, 3/4, even I'm like, even when it's first revealed and Malcolm is pushing against them and saying life finds a way, realistically in that moment, one of them would have gone, wait, you said you're using frogs? Frogs can change. No one does. Now, again, every movie's allowed a movie moment. Yeah. And the movie's so damn good that this is, I don't know, the billionth time I've seen this movie, and this is the first time I was like, oh, wait a goddamn second. Yeah. We're just now realizing after all this,
yeah, it's a big oversight for the scientists.
It feels kind of like but then I guess you could.
Wu not knowing that is crazy. It's a big point of tension in the book that they're like throughout most of the book they're debating how are these animals reproducing. Like first of all, they don't believe Grant that they're reproducing. And then like Grant has the proof because he finds the eggs and stuff. But it's this whole thing, and it's the reveal that it's from amphibian DNA. I think actually comes from Malcolm in the book or something like that. But yeah. It is very much thrown away.
Now, granted, you could also argue, because again, you only have so much time. So I get it. But you could also argue that you could go a lot of directions to make up for it. You could say that like these scientists are so bought and paid for that they're like, yeah, baby, whatever, only women. Or only, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, they're all girls. You could go a lot of ways with it. It just, for some reason, hit me this time where I was like, wait a sec.
Very movie. Like, oh, but again, and this is why.
Every movie gets one.
But isn't that wild that that's true that some amphibians do that?
So crazy.
Yeah.
Seahorses do that.
Yeah, they do. It's wild.
And seahorses, the men hold the babies. And I love that shit.
Yeah. Yeah, you do love seahorses.
I wanted one and I almost got one until my parents thought I was going to be a lawyer because I would get so obsessed with a thing. Like a Palm Pilot when I was very young. I got fixated on wanting a Palm Pilot. to the point where my parents ended up getting me one. Or actually, no, sorry. I paid for it with my own money. My own acting money. I was able to buy my own and did like, I don't know what with it because I was like so young. But like, I think they literally let me go because they just wanted me to shut up about a Palm Pilot.
Yep.
But then I got fixated on seahorses and I needed a seahorse. And I remember we were like at my grandparents' condo in Florida in Marco Island. And I was like, I had a little book. I bought a little book on seahorses. And I remember the feeling of looking at this book and being like, I need one. They're the most magical, majestic, divine creatures in all the land.
Though. They're
but
pretty incredible.
They're incredible. They're also weird as hell. And I love that about them, but they're also magic. But then my parents, God bless them, took me to an exotic pet shop. And then they were like, oh, you have to like feed them live shit like every day. And then I also, this is so me. That was bad enough. And I remember my parents' face being like, Carly, you want to feed a seahorse like live, whatever it is? And I was like, well, not really. And then they were like, yeah, and you can't touch it. And for some reason, that's so obvious. But hearing the person be like, oh, yeah, no, like you definitely can't touch it. I was like, oh, like I want to be able to like pet it. Like I want to be able to be like, hi, and like touch its little head. And they're like, oh, yeah, no, you're definitely not doing that. And I was like, I'm good. I don't need a seahorse. And they're expensive too.
That
anyway,
makes sense.
I do love seahorses. Anyway.
Well, let's genetically modify some seahorses so they can live on land and then we'll make a park.
Yeah.
And then they'll overthrow the park and they'll kill us in their seahorse ways.
Don't steal this idea. Yeah. I know what you're thinking.
Yeah, put those pins down. Yeah,
I know what you're thinking. And you're going to take this idea about the seahorse park and you're going to run with it.
IP is sacred.
Wait, but actually, ew, I just pictured like an enormous seahorse. Picture SeaWorld now instead of it. So like that, like
huge.
Oh, Colin, I almost can't handle it. Absolutely terrible. And like they genetically modified it just off enough that they've got like nar teeth and they're like,
Mm-hmm.
And then, oops, we have feet. Oh. Mm-hmm. Are we running? Are the feet slapping on the ground? Okay. This feels like a natural place to.
Yeah.
And
you tell us, Script Babies, are the feet slapping on the ground?
I was picturing, like concrete with water on it, like when you're at SeaWorld and like the water flaps over and then that.
I know exactly.
But there's
I heard
like
it in my mind when you said
yeah,
it.
Thank you. So, yeah, guys, hey, don't steal it.
Yeah.
Colin and I are on it. Working title, Jurassic
Seahorse.
Seahorse feet. Slap.
Seahorses attack.
I'm not mad about it. Anyway, we love you.
We honestly love you. Okay, Script Babies.
All right. If you liked this episode, let us know.
Yeah. Like and rate us and follow us and all that
do
jazz.
all the good stuff. Make us proud. Love you.
Thank you.
See you next time.
Okay, bye.
Thank you for listening to Script Daddy. Script Daddy is executive produced and hosted by Carly Casey and Colin Moretz, with additional production assistance from the incredible Scott Simmock and our amazing sound mixer, Ryan Fee. Our artwork was done by Josh Alvarado.
If you love Script Daddy as much as we do, please tell your friends. Follow us on your preferred podcast platform and give us a rating and review. It really, really helps. We love you, Script Babies. For all inquiries, please email scriptdaddypodcast@gmail.com.